Hey guys, Kyle, the Death Knight of Anime here, bringing you my review for Eden Zero, Chapter 40. So yeah, with this chapter, I pretty much filled in the gaps of what I thought would happen, of what I thought would happen, of what I thought would happen, at least based off my predictions from last week. The only thing that really changed was the whole ether cannon bit, which I guess in itself could be counted as like as an explosive, but yeah, it wasn't like any kind of explosives that destroyed the planet. It was that ether cannon, which in itself, with the whole ether cannon thing, is kind of one of those things where, or from the first page, I pretty much knew how this chapter was gonna end. So it's really just a matter of pretty much waiting and seeing how everything was basically going to pop, of how everything was going to pop or just explode in the end, or how everything was just going to, or how everything was just going to come crashing down. Yeah. And with that said, one thing I really felt was an important takeaway from this chapter is that we see just how traumatic this one experience was for Hermit, because even though Hermit was basically tricked into helping build the cannon, it was one of those things where at the time that Springer found out of what was going on, it was too late. It was too late, which in itself shows how the professor and the other scientists themselves were experts at manipulating the situation. Because if you think about it, they basically it wasn't just Hermit that they tricked, but they tricked every single other machines into working into working for them. Like they pretty much manipulated the entire situation in order to in order they manipulate the entire situation, but by basically tricking every single machine into thinking that they pretty much had plans in order to help them. But at the time that the cannon was finished, they were like, and they were pretty much their true colors were revealed, and at that point, it was just. It was too late. The professor and this other scientist had just manipulated the situation and the machines to such a degree where it was as much as I hate to say it, it was the perfect treachery. Well, like they pretty much tricked everyone in they pretty much tricked everyone into thinking that they were planning to help, but in reality, again, it was it all just came crashing down, and it really is kind of one of those weird, extremely weird situations where in essence I think there is an argument in order to be made that pretty much Hermit probably shouldn't blame herself for what happened, but at the same time, you have to realize how is there really any room for her not to blame herself either, because if because even if she was tricked, it was based again. Everyone was tricked, so she pretty much has just as much blood on her hands as the professor and them. So yeah, you just kind of get an understanding of pretty much where Hermit is coming from, and how deeply Hermit is basically scarred because of this event. Um, now now, I will say that one thing that kind of confused me a little bit in the chapter is that when we see Hermit talking to one of the robot aides, he basically describes Planet Hook as the origin point. So I don't know if that's referring to just the specific planet where the specific planet, or if they're referring to that, like Planet Hook specifically, or if Planet Hook was the planet where all machines were created. I do assume it's the former over the latter, because if Planet Hook was the planet where all machines were made, then I think every single machine across every single machine every single machine across every single machine would have basically shut down long ago. But in either case, what I feel that little line with that little line about origin points, I feel in a way what that does kind of do is that it kind of sets up it's a bit of a cool little setup in order to explore a lot more about the origins of machine in this world and find out where exactly they originated from, because I think I feel again again, I feel that this is pretty much all basically leading back to Mother. Like if you look back on, I think it's chapter 1 or something. I don't know when we specifically get introduced to Mother, but Mother herself, she pretty much has pretty much a bit of a machine like quality to her for sure. So I think it's obviously setting up that probably the one who created all machines was probably Mother in the end. So yeah, like I think this is all setting up that Mother is kind of like the literal god of this world, and she created almost everything. Like she created the planets, she created the cosmos, she created machines. Like I think almost I don't know about creating everything, but I definitely feel that at the very least for starters we're getting a setup where Mother was the one who definitely helped in creating machines for sure. And Mashima's, and I gotta say, I'm just gonna say it outright. Mashima's habit of leaving chapter off on a cliffhanger continues to piss me off. But in this case, it's even worse because of how dark that ending is. And the thing is, it's one of those endings that leaves me wondering: is Mashima actually going to show? Is going to show what the professor actually did to Hermit, or is he going to cut away and is he going to cut away? Is he going to cut away in the next week's chapter and basically show us in the present again, because and leave what happened to Hermit in that moment up to our imagination, because it's one of those things where if he wants to keep it shonen friendly, he either almost has to do. He almost has to pretty much, he has to basically cut away or show a sort of aftermath of Hermit killing them and crying over their dead bodies. That's that's really the only kind of ways I can see Mashima doing this in order to keep it like in the shonen friendly kind of situation. But at the same time, who knows? Because with Eden Zero, it really isn't even a pretty much Shonen Jump property. So I assume that Mashima might have a little more leeway with it being published in a different magazine. But yeah, either way, I don't know if Mashima's actually going to show it. Is going to show what the professor did to Hermit, but I'd be lying if that ending didn't. It definitely piqued a lot of my curiosity. Let's leave it at that. And like again, I don't know if he's gonna show us, but I wouldn't be against pretty much being shown for even if it is twisted and fucked up. Like yeah, I'm it's one of those things where I'm scared to know as to what the professor did to Hermit if he did anything, but yeah, I want to know for sure. What he did, or if he did anything, and if Hermit retaliated by pretty much killing them before that they could even do anything. But yeah. Now, if I did have one problem with the chapter, and believe me, it's kind of a very minor thing, is that I'd say that at the point where the chapter kind of cut away to what's going on in the present, it did feel kind of pointless, but I definitely like the little transition of Shiki's words and how it transitioned well into what Hermit told herself in the past. And one thing I really like about that specific transition of Shiki's words and Hermit's words is I really like how Mashima is continuing to show that his whole friendship trope is continuously having the reverse effect in this situation, while at the same time it's also kind of forcing Hermit to come to terms with her own demons. So yeah, it's a little interesting in that. It's interesting how it might not necessarily be working, but it is still forcing Hermit in order to face what she pretty much did in the past, and that's almost the best way in order for her to move on now. But yeah, guys, that's my review. If you enjoyed the video, like, comment, subscribe. Follow me on Twitter, Facebook, and Crunchyroll. That Night of Anime, signing off. Later, guys.